The Killers are coming to Australia. The band is going to be here late next year to tour one of their latest albums, hitting some of the big stadiums and also, very importantly, some smaller regional venues along the way. I caught up with lead singer Brandon Flowers from Las Vegas to talk about their new music, playing in Australia and some of their biggest hits. Brandon Flowers, thanks for joining News Breakfast.
Thanks for having me.
You must be so looking forward to getting back to Australia. I'm sure you've missed performing a lot. You're back doing gigs with the band in the US at the moment. How much have you missed performing on a stage in front of a big live audience?
Immensely. I mean, it's become a part of my identity. When we started the band, it really wasn't. It was all about, being in a gang almost and making records and writing songs. And I didn't really appreciate how much I was going to love being on stage, and it's become something that, like I said, it's become a part of me, and so I really do miss it.
The Australian tour is hooked around the Imploding the Mirage album from 2020. Tell us a bit about that album. Was it a slow burn, or did the tracks on it come fairly quickly?
I wouldn't call it laborious, but it was, but we put the effort in on that record. And we were working with a new team of producers. We were working with Sean Everett and Jonathan Rado. And we hit it off right away, and it was great working with those two. And there was just a lot of camaraderie, and there were a lot of those light bulb aha moments and the kind of things that can bring people together creatively, and those sparks. And it really was fun making that record.
Australia, as you know, has a very special place in the hearts of the Killers, and your fan base here has always been very big, all the way back to your first album. How can you explain this clearly special connection the Killers have with Australia?
We share a lot of similar tastes, and we definitely were influenced by bands that came out of Australia and New Zealand, and part of my inheritance that I got from my brother, was his cassette collection when he would get CDs, and a lot of those cassettes that I got when he moved on to the CDs were bands that were from Australia. I mean, some of the greatest songs that have ever been written have come from down there, and but yeah, we like to pay tribute when we're in a town, and it doesn't hurt that when it's a well-written song and it's fun to sing, I can get behind that.
One of the all-time great memories for Australian fans is the gig you and the Killers did performing at the 2017 AFL Grand Final, particularly that after-match performance when Jack Riewoldt got up on stage to help you belt out Mr. Brightside. Who can forget? Is it one of your happiest memories?
It just felt great when we were finished with the set. You're kind of exposed on this giant field in this giant stadium, and there are no bells and whistles like in the American Super Bowl. You get no lights or lasers, and so I was really proud of us for how we handled our little 13-minute slot that we had. And then it was kind of like a cherry on top having Jack come out and do Brightside at the end.
And while we're talking Mr. Brightside, it's clearly the band's biggest hit. How do you try to explain this fantastic song's amazing legacy and its enduring success?
It's tough. It's tough. I don't know that anybody can really put their finger on why a song can become so ubiquitous and take on such a form. We're certainly happy that we are, a part of it. It's strange. I think it's lyrically it's a sad sort of song. But I think a lot of people identify with it. I think a lot of people, and the chorus is just anthemic, and the guitar riff is there. It sort of has all the ingredients that you want in a rock and roll song.
Brandon Flowers, I'm sure Australians cannot wait for you and the band to get back here. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Oh, thank you.
Brandon Flowers, very charming chap there. And in some breaking news, we can tell you, he told me a bit later that Jack Riewoldt might be a backing vocalist for their tour next year. I asked him, and the words Brandon used were, he's welcome up on stage anytime. Now, I'm pretty sure he was joking.
Were there pauses there in that sentence?
There was a big, broad grin. But anything's possible. Jack Riewoldt, if you're watching.
Will the